Just one point, you just reminded me on, and I've experienced it from again my general practice hat on is the community in community pharmacy. There have been unfortunately a lot of cases where the patients who have signed up to these distance selling online massive online hubs around the
Yeah,
country and their prescription normally goes to them. And yes, everyone has their individual choice, and I'm not necessarily knocking these these big hubs. But what I've experienced, and this could be anecdotal, it might not be representative of all of these hubs and stuff, is that um, because they've also been inundated, right? They haven't furnished those prescriptions, and they haven't then contacted the patients themselves, or they've given a part supply, and there's not been any communication whatsoever about
yeah,
the rest of the prescription, etc. And then nobody has been able to get through to these hubs, and then the community pharmacies in the community have had to pick up and take responsibility for patients that are normally not even their patients to go out their way and help them in this situation. And for me, that just shows how
yeah.
important it is to support your own local community pharmacy over some of these hubs, in my opinion. Again,
Well,
that's from my experiences as a prescriber, because I've had in the last 3 weeks, Sergey, many cases where patients of ours have rang and said, look, I use this X distance selling pharmacy that's, my surgery's in Lancashire, but they get their prescription from London, from Yorkshire, from Merseyside or whatever. And I haven't received it and I can't get through to them. And or I've received one thing and I haven't received the three other items, and I'm worried.
yeah.
What should I do? And I've had to then reissue a prescription to a local community pharmacy who have then gone out their way to help that particular patient. Um,
Yeah.
so that is, I don't know what your take is on it, because
No,
you're
no, yeah.
broader conversations.
No, well, funny enough, you brought that up. There was something that um, I put on Twitter yesterday about this, and there was a bit of a debate. I've had experience of setting up, well, not necessarily setting up, but when it came to the business planning of setting up hubs when I was at Well, and on principle and on paper, you can see where it makes sense.
Yeah,
You tend to put all your costs into one place. You tend to have a better ROI, return of investment, etc., etc. But there's a difference between goods going out and meds, right? If I order my shopping from Sainsbury's
yeah,
and some things that they just don't have, I can live without it.
mm,
Or they can change one item to something similar.
yeah,
You can't do that with meds, right? And it also totally ignores the fact that there's something really important here that we forget. The relationship between a GP and their community pharmacists around them is very, very important as well.
definitely. I've again, where I work. I'm just being honest here. There's only three pharmacies in that area. Two
Yeah,
pharmacies owned by a large multiple, and
yeah,
they've had. I mean, every pharmacy, putting the disclaimer out there, has been doing great work. There's challenging times, there's unprecedented times, and we're all dealing with it. But because of the one relationship I have with another pharmacy who I know will get their work, will go out their way, will get their work done. I know the pharmacy, I know the team. I have no special relationship with them. When another when a patient has an issue or can't get hold of stuff or whatever, because I know that pharmacy and I know they're going to do a good job, um, I suggest it. I say, look, this is a pharmacy that that normally do this. And they're pretty good. I know the team. Do you want to use them? And a lot of the times they might do or they might not. It's up to the patient at the end of the day. But because they've built that relationship with the GP surgery, not myself personally, but with the whole surgery and other surgeries in that area, we know that they're going to do a good job. We know that they're going to go out their way to get a prescription done. They're going to go out their way to make sure they communicate effectively with that patient. They're going to go and deliver to that patient, etc.
mm,
And I just won't have that relationship with an online hub somewhere. I just
yeah,
won't, because I don't know who the staff are. I don't know who the pharmacist is. I don't know who the delivery drivers are. But at least with the local community pharmacy teams, I have that, and you know, with all of them. And I know some have a bit more flexibility than others. I know some of the bigger companies might not have. I'm just being brutally honest here. But you know, it is what it is, I guess.
Well, the other thing is that when I was touching on about that relationship that you have, you know, with the doctors and the community pharmacists, a lot of the times it's the community pharmacies that actually see the patients on a regular basis as well. And so just to be able to feed back to the GPs, just say, I've noticed X, Y, Z about such a patient. I think you might just need to keep an eye on them. You can only do that if you've got a relationship, and you'll only do that if you speak on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So having these large hubs, which are God knows wherever they are, and then you've got pharmacists that don't have any sort of relationship with the GPs and prescribers, totally takes that side of primary care working totally out of it. And to me, that's just a risk to a patient.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it makes sense from you know, a lot of the times as well to have a hub where that does this work, because you have one concentrated place, you consolidate your staff there, and a lot of the times, you know, for many working people, it's an efficient service. So we're not trying to criticize and, you know, downplay its usefulness. It's just that in situations like this, you can see the pros of having a relationship with a community pharmacy in your area, and you know, building a relationship with them, and from the perspective of a prescriber who's working in general practice, I see that benefit straight on, because when I know one of my patients has had trouble either with a hub or another pharmacy in that area, if I know of a trusted pharmacy in the vicinity, and I've worked with them and I've had good relationships with them, and they've given a good service all the time, you know, on all different occasions in the past, then I'm more likely to suggest that service to my patients. But at the end of the day, putting the disclaimer in, I'm not saying go there. It's ultimately the patient's choice.
Yeah, true. But I'd recommend them using a community pharmacy.